Today we learned about the sequencing, which is the part of a operations research. Introduction to the sequencing. Sequencing basically the job sequencing, which is processed to the sequence of machines. We have to arrange the job. Suppose there are the 3 or 4 jobs processed through the 2 or 3 machines. It may be more than 2 machines. We have to arrange the jobs in such a way and which is processed through the machines that our elapsed time should be minimum and ideal time should be minimum. In the sequencing, we concentrate on the problem of the determine the sequence. That means the order, arranging the order of the jobs which is processed through the machines, in which a number of jobs should be performed on different machines in order to make effective use of available facilities and achieve greater output. When the number of jobs and the sequence of the machines in which they are to be performed is known, sequencing helps to determine the minimum total time for to complete the jobs. Determine the minimum time to complete all the jobs in a sequence, but we have to arrange the jobs, which one to be performed first, which one to be second, which one to be third. It is going on like that and passes through the number of machines. The purpose of scheduling are minimizing the total efforts or relevant cost, customers waiting time for a product, meeting promised delivery dates, keeping the stock levels low, minimizing the waiting time of the patients in a hospital for the different types of the tests, etc. So where is the application is there, where the job is doing or performed in a machine one after another, like the printing jobs, like when we are delivering the details and we are giving the delivery date, that should be processed through. So which items or which documents to be delivered first and which one to be the second into the different process to be there in the transition period and the transition places also there for shifting the consignment, like that. When we are taking the stocks and delivering the stocks also, patient in the hospital for their service, which one to be considered first and different tests to be done for the patient in a sequence. These are the examples of the sequencing problem. Job sequence is the arrangement of the tasks that is to be performed or processed in a machine in that particular order. Job sequence problem has become the major problem in various engineering fields. A finite set of in jobs. We are considering we have the in jobs, where each job consists of the change of operation. That means it is processed through the number of operations and a finite set of M, that operations, whatever the operations processed through the jobs, that we are considering a finite set of the M machines, where each machines can be handled at most one assignment at a time. When we are considering the n number of jobs in a queue and it is processed through the m number of the machines at a time, one machines can run. So when the first machine is running, next all the machines are in idle. Each assignment needs to be evaluated during an uninterrupted period of a given length on a given machine. That means when a job is processed in a machine, it will take time, and that time we are considering is an uninterrupted time. That is the time consumed for that machine for to process the jobs. That is we are considering as the length on a given machine, and or the purpose is to find an inventory, that is an allocations of the operations to time intervals to machines that has minimal length. Length means we have to find out the elapsed time. That means complete all the jobs passing through the all machines, whatever the time is consumed or needed to execute all the jobs, that is our the length of the time, and that is called the elapsed time. And during the process, if one machine is idle, we have to find out the idle time. That idle time we have to minimize also. That is our the basic objective for the sequencing problem. Sequencing problem is also known as the job sequencing. Definition: let there be there are n jobs J1, J2, J3 and Jn, which has to be processed one at a time by each of m machines. That means we have here the n jobs and m machines. M machines are denoted as the M1, M2, M3, MM. The order of processing each job through the machines is given. The time that each job requires on each machine is known. That means the job when it is performed in the machine. So what is the processing time for the machine for the particular job is known to us. The problem is to find a sequence among factorial n to the power m. If we arrange the sequence, that would be the factorial n to the power m, number of all possible sequence for the proceedings the jobs. If we perform the job in a sequence and considering the all combination, we will get the factorial n to the power m number of combinations. The jobs which gives the minimum total elapsed time for all the jobs. So first we are considering some assumptions is there. That assumptions is known as the general assumption. The general assumptions, we are processing the jobs in a machine, that we have to consider, or otherwise we have to follow the rules. That is the general assumption. Processing time on each machine is known. When a job is processed through the machines, or it is executed, or it is performed, that job in a machine, that machine time, that is the process time, is known. Suppose job Ji, when it is processed through the job J1 is processed through the, suppose the MR machine, that time is known to us. Like that, each and every job is when it's going through the process in a particular machine, that time is known to us. The time required to complete a job is independent of the other of the jobs in which they are to be processed. One job's processing time in a particular machine which is independent to the other job which is performed, that particular machine is independent. They are not dependent. No machine may process more than one job simultaneously. So no machine can perform more than one jobs. They cannot perform the simultaneously more than one job. Only one job process in a one machine. These are the assumptions. The time taken by each job is changing over from one machine to the another machine is negligible. Whatever the time consumed That means when you are changing the job from machine, suppose J1 to machine MK to MK plus 1. One job is shifting from after completion from the machine MK to MK plus 1. That time is lost. That lost time we are considering as a negligible time. We are not considering that lost time during the one job is from shifting from the one machine to the other machine. Each job once started on a machine is to be performed up to the completion on that machine. As soon as the one job is started in one machine, it should not be stopped unless until it is complete. That is, each job once started on a machine is to be performed up to the completion on that machine. That means as soon as the one job is processing start in a particular machine, it cannot be stopped unless until it is complete. Each operations once started must be completed before its succeeding operation can start. So predecessor should be complete before start the successor job or to be start in the successor machine. We can say both way. Predecessor job unless until is complete, successor job we cannot start. And also we can say as soon as the one job is completed in a predecessor machine, it is moved to the successor machine. A job start on the machine as soon as possible subject to ordering requirements. A job start on the machine as soon as the possible subject to ordering. According to the arrangement or sequencing of the jobs, it is not necessary that J1, J2, J3 jobs is like that Jn should be performed in that indexing. We have to arrange it by using the algorithm which to be start first and which to be start second, and that is job start on the machine as soon as the possible subject to the ordering requirement. As soon as we are arranging the jobs in a sequence, then it can start through the machines. That arrangement we have to do by using an algorithm, job sequencing algorithm. That is the name of that algorithm. Basic terminology we are using to develop the job sequencing module. Job arrival pattern. The usual pattern of arrivals into the system may be static or dynamic. There is the two types of the pattern of the jobs to be arrival to perform in the machine. That is, one is the static, another is the dynamic. What is called the static? If the certain number of jobs arrives simultaneously and no further jobs arrive until the present set of the jobs has been processed, then the problem is said to be the static. That means number of jobs in our hand which is to be processed into the machine in a sequence, and we have no job that more than that. Suppose we have the 50 number of jobs that we have to perform in 3 or 4 machines, and at that time we have no another jobs. That jobs we have to perform through the machine, then we can say it is a static model. That means we know how many jobs in our hand and we have to complete that passing through the machines or performing through the machine in that particular processing of the particular jobs. Dynamic model. In this case, jobs arrive after the certain interval of the time, and arrival of jobs will continue indefinitely in future also. So when the job is arriving and it is performing in a machine, but in a frequency of time, in a finite interval time, or jobs can arrive in a continuous in a time interval, then it is called the dynamic. That means we do not know when the jobs will come and to be performed in the machines, and that may become in a certain time interval. That time interval may not be the equal, but we can consider as a it is the continuously it is the jobs is coming, and it is in a queue. Job is coming and in a queue. Then that model is known as the dynamic model. Number of machines. A sequencing problem may be called the single processor or the multiprocessor problem, according to the number of machines available in the shop. Shop means this is the shop floor where the production is going on and the jobs is running machine to machine in a sequence. That is the machine available in the shop. Number of machines, jobs is passing through the number of machines. That machines are available in the shop, that is the shop floor with the, where the production is going on. The multiple processor case may be further classified as the parallel, series and hybrid. Two jobs can be run in a parallel, two jobs can be run in a series, and that jobs can be combination of the parallel and series, that is called the hybrid combination. Sequence of machines, fixed sequence, and the two is that is the random sequence. What is called the fixed sequence? In this case, given jobs are processed in a fixed order. An example of such a case will be where each job is to be processed first on machine 1, then on the machine 2, then on the machine 3, and so on. In this case, the sequence is the fixed. That job is processed through the machine by machine as their index number. That is called the fixed sequence. Random sequence, in this case, given jobs are processed in a random order. It is not fixed. It can be moved to the one machine to one machine randomly. That is the random sequence. Processing time. Processing time is also the two types. One is the deterministic time, another is the probabilistic time. Deterministic time, if the processing time is known with certainty, it is the deterministic model. That means when a job is processing through the machines, that processing time is known to us. That means how much time it will take to process through the machine 1, machine 2, machine 3, respectively, that time is known to us. Then it is called the deterministic model. For the time processing is the deterministic. Probabilistic, if only expected processing, we do not know the exact time to require to process the jobs in a machine, but we can expect that it will be completed suppose in a t time, but it can take less than t, it can take more than t. That's why it is called the probabilistic model. We can only calculate the expected time. Suppose job 3, when it is processed to the machine 3, we can say that it will take the 30 minutes, but we cannot confirm that it will take exactly 30 minutes. It maybe can take less than 30 minutes. It can take more than 30 minutes. That's why it is called the probabilistic problem or probabilistic model. Total elapsed time. That means start to end, all the jobs are processed through passing through all the machines. That means when the job J1 to Jn processed through the machine M1 to MM, and how much time it will take to complete all the jobs processed through all machines, that is called the elapsed time. This is the time between starting the first job and completing the last job, and also include the idle time. That is the elapsed time. Within the elapsed time, that is also the idle time is there. So how much time it is required during the process to complete all the jobs through the machines is known as the elapsed time. Let us consider the two model. First is the n jobs 2 machines, then we consider the n jobs 3 machines. So that algorithm to arrange the jobs in a sequence to perform the jobs through the machine, you have to arrange the order J1, J2, J3, Jn, which one to be performed first, which one to be performed second. That through the algorithm, that algorithm is known as the Johnson's algorithm. It was developed in the 1957. So now we are discussed about that Johnson's algorithm for n jobs and the 2 machines. That means number of jobs is the n which is processed through the 2 machines. That means process through the 2 machines. Number of machines is 2 and n number of jobs. So there are the 2 machines. Since we are considering the 2 machines and the n jobs, machine A and machine B and n jobs. If AI, BI are the processing time, let us consider A1, A2, A3, AN. That means job 1, when it's processed to the machine A, time required is A1. When the job 3 passes through the machine A, time requirement is A3. Like that, job Jn, when it is processed through the machine A, required time is An. Like that, job Ji passes through the machine B, that time is Bi. That's why if AI and Bi are the processing for the ith job on the machine A and B respectively, I is equal to 1 to n. Then the problem is to find the sequence of performing the jobs on the 2 machines A and B. So you have to arrange the jobs in a sequence performing in the machines A and B by using the Johnson's algorithm. Performing the jobs on the 2 machines A and B in the given order AB so that the total elapsed time will be minimum. Our objective is first we have to arrange the jobs in order, then why we have to arrange? We have to minimize the elapsed time. That means total processing time should be minimum. We have to arrange that way all the jobs. These are the jobs J1 to Jn and 2 machines A and B, and these are the times consumed by the jobs in the machine A. These are the times consumed by the jobs in the machine B. First, we have to find out AI and BI. Among the time is given from the time AI and BI, we have to find out the minimum of that. Which one is the minimum? We have to mark it. First, write it and mark in the table. Then, second, minimum may be occurred in the machine A and may be occurred in the machine B. That minimum value may be occurred in the machine A and may be occurred in the machine B. If the information B, that minimum value be AK, that means here for sum I is equal to K, then that for the K value, that means that Kth job, if that minimum value is occurred at the AK, that time AK, that means corresponding to the JK, Kth job gives the minimum value at the for the machine A, so that should be start first. The Kth job should be done first of all. Now at the same time, maybe minimum occurred at the for the machine B. Let us consider that BR is the minimum value for the machine B. We already said AK for the machine A, If it is the minimum, so kth job should be start first, and minimum for the BR, which is for I is equal to war, then the RF job should be start at the last. So in this case, we can say minimum for the machine B should be start at the last, and minimum for the machine A start first. If there is a tie for the minimum value, AK is equal to BR. Both are the tie. So kth job goes to the first, and the rth job to be performed at the last, as per our the algorithm discussed in the step 2. If the tie for the minimum occurrence among the AIs selected the job corresponding to the largest of the BAs and do it first of all. If the tie for the minimum occurrence among the A's, select the job and corresponding to the largest of the BAs. If the B is the largest, then it should go to the first. At the same time, if the for the A's minimum value and B's is the greatest value, then it should go to the first. Which one we already arranged, that should be cross out, or we can remove from the table. So we can repeat the process from the rest of the jobs. Which one we already considered, that column with respect to that job should be cross out, or we can block, and from the rest of the jobs we repeat the steps from 1 to 4, and we will get the reduce table. Then repeat this until all the arrangement is done. You have to repeat until and until all the jobs are arranged in a sequence. Let us consider an example. Let us consider an example. In a factory, there are the 6 jobs to perform. Each of these should go through the 2 machines. That means we have the 6 jobs and the 2 machines. Each job to be performed in the 2 machines A and B in the order AB. First, we have to process in the machine A, then we have to process in the machine B. That is given in the order AB. The processing time in hours for the jobs are given below in the table, that the processing time is given for the jobs with respect to the machine A and B. Determine the sequence for performing the jobs so that total elapsed time is minimum, and determine the ideal time for the machine A and for the machine B respectively. Find the total elapsed time. So this is the problem which is given, and at the same time the jobs are given, 2 machines is there, that respective time schedule is given. This is the scheduling is there. From that, you have to start the solution by using the Johnson's algorithm. Whatever we learned, that we have to apply. Solution. This is the table we are keeping at the top, because with the help of this we have to make the schedule by using our steps algorithm. First, we have to find out what we learned, the minimum value in A and B. So what is the minimum duration time here? A with respect to the job 1 in the machine A, and nowhere is the 1. Next minimum is 2, then next minimum is 3 and 3. Both is there, 3 and 3. So first we got 1 is the minimum for the machine A, for the job J1. So J1 should start fast in the processing in a sequence. It first processed through the machine A, then it is processed through the machine B in a sequence. The smallest processing time in the given problem is 1 on the machine A. So perform J1 in the beginning as shown below. So this is our the arrangement, because we have the job J1 to J6. That is the 6 cell is there. So this from left to right, it is the starting, and right to left is the, this is the last performing, this is the before the last performing, this is the second performing, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Now, as soon as we go, the J1 is selected, we have to remove J1 from the table by reducing this the our time scheduling. That is in step 2. The reduced set of the processing time becomes J1 is gone. Now we left here the J2, J3, J4, J5, and J6. From that we have to find out minimum. Now see, in the table we got 2 is the minimum that appears for the job J4 and J5 for the machine B. According to that, J4 and J5 goes to the end of the processing in the schedule. The minimum processing time in this reduced problem is 2, which corresponding to J4 and J5, and are performed on the machine B, since the corresponding processing time of J5 on the machine A machine is. If we compare this to the time, so first we have to compare which one is the greater. This is the 6 is greater and then 5. The 6 is greater than 5. On the machine A is larger than the corresponding time at J4 on A. So J5 will be produced in the last, and J4 the before of that, and J4 should complete before of the J5. So we have to put J5 at the end, then before that J4. The updated job sequence will be, now we will get the next arrangement of the sequence of the job. J5 at the end, then the J4, because there is the tie 2 and 2, and since if we check in the A, that is the processing time with respect to the A corresponding to the J5 is more than the J4. That's why J5 as the end, then the J4. So we left here the another T, and we are getting the our remaining processing time by removing the J4 and J5 from the time schedule. Now from that we have to check again. This is 3, this is 3, and this is 3. So which one to be come first and which one to be go last? This 3, J3, this 3 and this 3, and here highest value is 10 and lowest value is the 6. So which one will be go first, which one will be go next of that, and which one to be go to the before the last. Now comparing, now there is a tie among the 3 jobs. That 3 jobs are the tie for the smallest processing in the reduced problem. This corresponding to the J2, J3, and J6. On A, if we check on A, these 3, 8 is there. 8 is greater. If we check with this, and J3 on the machines B, so the corresponding time of J6 on the machine B is larger. If we compare with this time and this time, so 10 is greater than the 6. So then the corresponding time of J2 on machine B. So J6 will be the process after the J1. Now step 3 is applied and J2 should be processed the next. So the updated job sequence is like that. J2, J3. This is the J6, this 3, and the time is the highest time. That's why corresponding to this is the highest time. So this goes to the first, and this time is the less. So after the J6, it will be the J2. Only one left, J3. That should be here. Since there is a tie, when the minimum in the corresponding to the A machine, we have to check the what is the value in the B machine. B machine is the highest, that should come first, and which one is the least processing time, that should be the second. That's why J6 first and J2 the second, and left only the J3 is here. So these are the job sequence. With this job sequence, that means J1 perform first, then J6, then J2, J3, J4, then J5. With the help of that, we have to make the processing table. From the processing table, you have to find out the elapsed time, idle time. Now, these are the table given from the original problem. If we not keep here, we cannot complete the table here. See, this is our the given table. From here we can get the processing time in the machine A and machine B, and these are the job sequence. So first we have to complete the J1 passing through the machine A and machine B. So when a job is start, we are considering the start time is the 0, and what is the processing time? 1 hour. So 0 plus 1. So job 1 will be complete in the machine after 1 hour. So this is the time out. Time in, it is start from the 0th hour. So it will be complete in the 1 hour. Now, as soon as the job is completed in the machine A, now it is entered into the machine B. So what would be the hour? So first hour, it is started. So for our the simplicity, if it is considered the noon, 12 noon, that is we are considering as the 0th hour. This is the 1 p.m. 1 hour taking time, takes the job J1, then it is entered into the machine B, 1 p.m. How much time it is required for the J1 in the machine B? 5 hours. So 1 plus 5, so it will be complete in the 6 p.m. Like that we can consider that. That means 6th hour it will be complete. Now when the job is entered into the machine B, that time 1 hour it is idle. When the job is running in the machine A, that time machine B is idle. How much time it is idle? Unless until the job is complete in the machine B. Machine B, machine A, unless until the job complete in the machine A, job cannot start in the machine B. That time is the idle time, processing time in the machine A. That's why machine B is idle is 1 hour, and this is the finishing time. Now the job 6. So job 6 can start in the hour 1. The hour 1. How much the processing time? 3 hours. So 1 plus 3, we can immediately start as soon as the job 1 complete in the machine A. That time we can start the job 6 in the machine A, and the processing time is the 3 hour. So 1 plus 4. So in the 4th hour it will be finished. As per our example we are considering, we can say in the 4th p.m. job 6 will be complete in the machine A. Now see, unless the job 1 complete in the machine B, we cannot start the job 6 in the machine B. So as soon as job 6 is complete in the machine A, we cannot start that. For that, we have to wait unless the job 1 is complete in the machine B. So as soon as the job 1 complete in the machine B, we can start the job 6 in the machine B. That means it will be start in the 6th hour. That means we can say in the 6 p.m. It is going on, and how much time it will take? Job 6, 10. That means it will be complete in the 16th hour, we can say. And it is not ideal. 6 and 6 is there. We have to check that way. Then we can calculate the idle. Time out of job 1, and this is the time start in the same time is there. If there is any difference, from that we can calculate our ideal time. Now the next step. So in the meanwhile, when the J6 is start in the machine B, meanwhile we can start the J2 in the machine A. J2, that is time duration is 3. So it is started at the same time we can start J2 in the machine A in the 4th hour, and processing time is the 3 hours. So it will be complete in the 7th hour. And at the same time, J6 is complete in the machine B in the 16th hour. So J2 will be start in the machine B in the 16th hour. What is the processing time in the J2 in the machine B? Just 6 hours. So 16 plus 6 is equal to 22. So 16 and 16. Time out for the job 6 in the machine B, and job 2 start in the machine B is the 16. There is no idle time. Here J6 is complete in the machine A in the 4th hour, and job 2 start in the machine A in the 4th hour, and time duration 3, so 7. Now we have to check and we calculate the job 3. So job 3 will be start in the 7th hour. At the same time, job 3 will be start in the machine B in 22nd hour. Job 3 start in the machine A 7th hour. What is the time duration? In the machine A, 8 hours. 7 plus 8 is equal to 15 hours. It is required. At the same time, it is J3 processing start in the machine B is 22. And what is the processing time is there? 3 hours. So it would be complete in 22 plus 3 in 25th hours. So total, and up to that if we consider, so total elapsed time to completing the J1, J6, J2 and J3, 25 hours we need to complete these 4 jobs. Next we start the J4 in the machine A in the 15 hours, because this 15 hours less than 25th. Now, and it is start in the machine B in the 25th hours. J4 start in the machine A in the 15th hours. J4 duration in the machine A is the 5. So 15 plus 5 is the 20. So J4 will be complete in the machine A in the 28th hours. And J4, that job, will be start in the machine B in the 25th hours. 25th is the timeout for the job J3, and start time in the start time is the 25th hours for the job 4. So there is no time gap. There is no time gap. That's why there is no ideal time. So now J5, job 5 will start in the machine A in the 28th hour. and time duration is 3. So it will be complete at that 20 plus 3 is equal to 23. J5, oh, this is J5. Time duration is the 6. So 20 plus 6 is equal to 26, and it is J5 entered into the machine in the 27th hours. 27. J4 time duration for the machine 2. So 25 plus 2 is equal to 25. 25 to 25, there is no time elapse is there, no idle time is there. Only idle time we got for the machine B in the for the first job. Here it is also start time is 20 and 20, and in time the job 5 for the machine 26, and this is in the machine B is 29. So when the job 5 unless until complete in the machine B, we cannot start further job in a queue for another lot. That means that time J5 is idle. So how much time is idle of the machine A to completion the job 5? So machine A is idle, we can find out 29 minus 26. So 29th hour J5 will be complete in the machine B, and J5 is completed in the machine A by 26th hour. So unless the J5 is complete in the machine B, that time the machine A is idle. So idle time for the machine A is 29 minus 26 is equal to 3 hours. At the same time, machine B is idle is 1 hour. So this is our the complete calculation table for the elapsed time. So we can say the total elapsed time starting from job J1 to J5 to completing that we need the 29 hours, and from completing this 29 hours all the jobs, how much time the machine A is idle, how much time the machine B is idle, that we can find out from this. Idle time for the machine A is equal to, I already said, 29 minus 26 is equal to 3 hours, and machine B is idle for 1 hour. This is the complete of this problem for the when the n jobs passes through the 2 machines. Next we learn the n jobs passes through the 3 machines. That is the sum algorithm. First we have to convert the 3 machines to the equivalent to the 2 machines. Then we have to solve it.